Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to talk about graphing linear equations in standard form. So in order to graph equations that are written in standard form, you have to understand what standard form is. So right now in your notes, I'd like for you to copy down the definition. Standard form of a linear equation is written in this form: a times x plus b times y equals c, where a, b, and c are all real numbers, and a and b cannot both be 0. One of them can be 0, but not both. And basically what we're looking at is a is a coefficient of x, b is a coefficient of y, and c represents our constant in this problem. Okay, so you may be wondering why. Why are we using this form? Well, let's take a look at what happens if we let a or b be 0. If a is equal to 0, then 0 times x is equal to by, which equals c, or by is equal to c. If we solve this equation for y, we're going to end up with a number, a value. Y is equal to just one number. In this case, they kind of let y equal b. So if I multiply by the reciprocal of 1 over b, I isolate my y, I get c over b. C over b is just some number because c and b are both real numbers that are not 0, and therefore y is equal to this lowercase b. Okay, and the same is true if we let the b equal 0. Okay, if b is equal to 0 in this equation, then we will end up with ax equals c, right? Because the by disappears. Again, multiply both sides of the equation by 1 over a, we get x equals c over a, or in this case, x equals a little a, just some value they give it. So again, this is going to make sense in a minute, but you're just trying to figure out you can solve for just one letter by letting a equal 0 or b equal 0. So we're going to use this idea in order to graph these very quickly. Okay, so let's start with some types of graphs that you need to understand. One graph is the equation y equals b that we just found. And if you look at that graph, right, it's right here. B is going across. It means that there's no values of x at all, which means basically no matter what I put in, I'm going to get the same value for my y term. So no matter what, if I pick any point on this line, let's say I pick this point, or this point, or this point, or this point, these are all just going to be some number and the value of whatever this b is. So if on this graph, let's say that y was 2, if b was equal to 2, then this might be 3, 2, this might be 4, 2, this might be negative 1, 2, negative 2, 2. So, you know, that's the idea here. This graph represents a horizontal line. So that's a horizontal line. All right, let's take a look at the other kind. The other kind is when x is equal to a. When you have x equal to a and there's no y value, this looks like a vertical line, okay? Basically, all of my x values are the same no matter what y I choose. X is always going to be equal to a in this case, but again, a is just some number. So let's say this was 2. If x were equal to 2, no matter what point I pick on this line, it's always going to be 2 in the x coordinate, okay? So that's kind of like the introductory for understanding a little bit about horizontal and vertical, as well as what it means to be in standard form. Okay, please watch the next video on example 1 and 2.